So guys, we're gonna do three things today. One, we're gonna talk about a fifth camera that Fujifilm will launch in 2025. That's a record for Fujifilm. Now we already got three, of course. The fourth one will be the GFX Eterna, which we told you already months ago will come in September. And then there is a fifth camera. We talked about it a few weeks ago on FujiRumors, but never here on this channel. So I'm gonna talk about it here and I'm gonna share some thoughts, and especially I would like to hear what you think about it. The second thing is what we're gonna do is that we are not going to do this from the boring balcony of my home, but we're going good old-fashioned style FujiRumors YouTube channel. So I'm gonna bring you into that mountain there. That's the Catinaccio, the Rosengarten group of the Dolomites. I'm gonna take two cableways to the Kölner Hütte, and from there then start the hike into a new trail that I never did before, so I will discover it together with you. And the third thing is that I'm here with my XT5, and we're gonna talk about the feature that built into this camera that will allow me to go home and not edit any pictures on the computer. And I'm not talking about Fujifilm colors. It's another feature, although colors are very, very helpful also to skip the whole editing part. So with that said, now I'm a little bit late. I don't know where we end up today, but we start with the cableway here. See you soon. So this is the second cableway. It brings me up to the Kölner Hütte. From there we start the hike. As you saw, easy to find the parking, no queue on the cableway. And we are in August, in the high season, in the heart of the Dolomites, one of the most beautiful ranges in the Dolomites. And I say this because there was recently an article on CNN, and readers sending it to me about over-tourism in the Dolomites. And look, some spots, 3, 4, 5 spots where everybody goes, super easy to reach. And these Instagrammer spots, those tend to get crowded. There is a problem of over-tourism, but the Dolomites are huge, are a vast mountain range. And now I'm here in one of the most beautiful of them, the Catinaccio, and I'm alone in the whole cableway. And it's August. We are in high season, so just pick another trail, go over there to the Latemar, also Dolomites. You can skip the lines. You don't have to go where everybody goes, and you won't miss those places because the other places are just as beautiful, if not more in some cases. So don't be too panicked about over-tourism. Do proper research, avoid maybe the top spots in high season, and then you're good to go and you can enjoy the mountains, okay? So I'm arrived. I show you, we enter now this cave tunnel here, and from there we start the hike. I've never done it before, so we discover it together. So the first 20 minutes of the hikes are done. It's quite steep, you have to use your hands to come up here, but it's a secure road trail, so you don't need any gear. And now somehow I have to get to the other side of that mountain wall here. I guess it's that path down there, and I don't know where it leads me and how it looks like, but I'll let you know later. And I'm gonna continue to the Chaga Joch, it's called, okay? See you soon. You see that mountain peak over there? That's called the Whitehorn, and I was there last week with my 4.5-year-old son. It was his first mountain peak he made in his life. I'm so proud of him. And so if you're coming with kids, that hike is really easy to do with kids, and you have a gorgeous view. It's called the Whitehorn. I'll let you the location down below where you can park, and from there 50 minutes. My son, 4.5 years old, needed 1 hour to get up, so it's a 300 meter elevation gain. So very beautiful, but now I have to continue here and pay attention, because one wrong step and goodbye FujiRumors, okay? So the Schwaige shaft is done. It's steep, but it's super doable. You can take out the sticks and walk just uphill. Nothing technically difficult. Not that many people, and one of the best views I had on the Dolomites until now. So when they write about overcrowded in the Dolomites, look at me here. I'm a super introvert, so I'm only gonna film if I'm alone, and I'm alone. So just go for different paths. 40 minutes, 2 cableways, 40 minutes, and you're at that viewpoint. And then you can gently walk downhill to the hut, grab some food, and turn back if you want. So guys, I'm almost arrived to the violet hut, which is the hut down there. And it's time to talk about the next camera, the 5th camera that Fujifilm will launch in 2025. A camera that many did not expect to see, and that's the true successor to the X-T30 Mark II. Yes, I know we have the X-T50, and most of us at least thought that that's it, that's a successor, but no, Fujifilm doesn't really consider that a successor to the X-T30. So there will be, I don't know, an X-T30 Mark III or an X-T40 or something like that, so that's coming. At this point, kudos to Fuji X Weekly, who right from the beginning, right since the announcement of the X-T50, thought there would be one day still space for a true X-T30 successor, and here it is. So he was absolutely one of the few who was not surprised by this camera. So I will link also his article down below. So how can an X-T30 Mark II successor look like? Now, this is a speculation, but I guess quite an accurate one, because I think they will just take the X-T30 Mark II body, put the 5th generation processor in it, the new firmware, and that's it. So they can keep prices lower, because that's what's missing actually. It's closing a gap. Now with the X-E5 and X-T50, they all raised in price significantly, and the whole entry-level line of Fujifilm was cancelled. So the XA line, the X-T100-200 was cancelled. Yes, the X-M5 got a revival, but that one has no viewfinder. So there was, and there is still space for a more affordable camera with viewfinder, and so I guess it will be just an X-T30 Mark II with a 5th generation sensor. My hope is that they will at least put in that nice screen we had on the X-T100 that kind of goes in all direction, which would be, I think, a brilliant design. I hope they reuse that. My dream would be they would just take the X-T50 body, so with IBIS, and keep the 26 megapixel sensor, but that would again increase cost. So I think it's all about costs here. So we are left with one thing I still have to tell you, and that is the magical setting on my X-T5 that I use to have a little post-processing on the computer as possible. But I will do that after I've decided what to do of my hike here, because over there is the violet hut. And in theory, I just could come back, I guess, and the same way. But I see another hut up there, very on the top, and that's the Gras Leitenpass Hütte, Rifugio Passo Principe. I always wanted to go there, never been there, but that would make my hike so long, because then I have to descend the other side, and it's still kind of, I guess, 1,500 meters of descent. So I try to make up my mind about that, and then hear you later with the magical setting. So I just had lunch at the Gras Leitenpass Hütte, where there is some construction going on, but it's very beautiful. From one side you can go through to a lake. It's called the Antermoya Lake. I've been there, but coming from another side, from the Duron Valley, Now I am descending. I'm descending here this steep canyon, but very safe, nothing difficult, to the Grasleitenhütte, the Bergamo hut, and from there down to the Tschamin Valley. Around 1,500 meters of descent to do until I arrive to the town where I started from. So no cableways back, the long tour I did, and I'm happy I did it. So still some way to go, and for us time to talk about the secret feature. Not really so secret, but the feature that I'm using to have as little editing as possible to do in post. Now we all know about Fujifilm colors, and I rely a lot on that for reducing my editing, but there is another thing that in post-processing I tend to do a lot, and that's recovering shadows and highlights so that I have the maximum dynamic range possible. So that's one of the main reasons why I go even editing a picture. Fujifilm cameras have a built-in features, a couple of built-in features actually, where you can expand your dynamic range in your JPEG file. And oof, and I better look where I step on. And there are kind of three features Fujifilm offers for you to get it right in camera. One is the dynamic range 200 and 400 expansion. One is the dynamic range priority, and the other is the dynamic range bracketing, which is here on the camera. You just flip this and you are in HDR mode. So what I use most is the DR 200 and 400 function. I settled down with this. I got some experience in the meantime on how to use them best, and I feel that with every sensor generation Fujifilm has improved on how these files, the R200 and 400, look. So they look more and more natural, and now with the 40 megapixel sensor I feel like they're really good. Those files are really good, and they're definitely good enough for me to capture high dynamic range scenes without the need of editing, if it's just for my personal memories of this hike and so, and nothing maybe I want to print, because I always shoot JPEG and RAW, and when there is that one image that I maybe want to print, then I'm happy that I have the RAW and I can edit it and I can really squeeze everything out of it. So I always keep the RAW, but I'm happy that most of my images just survive in JPEG, and this dynamic range feature is very, very handy. There is also dynamic range priority, or the HDR mode. They work all a bit different, and just check out some YouTube videos about it. Or I think the best resource I found is really Rico Piercinger's book about the XT5 or other manuals he has written, because there he really describes perfectly how it works, and also some tips and tricks on how to make the best out of those features. Now I finished my hike. I'm not that far away from the Bergamo hut, and ooh, you see here, it's beautiful mountains. I'm so happy I continued to hike, and so you can see how this hike ends in a very, very beautiful valley, the Tschamin Valley. But first I have to go through this epic scenery here, and yeah, I guess about 1,500 meters downwards. My knees won't be that happy about it, but we're going. Okay, see you later. So we have left the Bergamo hut, the Grasleitenhütte, and down there you can see this beautiful valley, the Tschamin Valley. That's where I have to walk all the way until the next town. It's a really beautiful valley. So my hike is done, and now here I am at the church. There is nobody here. You can see the church back there, the Rosengarten group of the Dolomites, and if you wait until sunset, all of that will turn red like fire. I don't have time now to wait until sunset, but I share a picture that I did in the past. So to wrap it up, I hope that you liked the video, you liked the hike, and maybe someday somebody of you will make this hike or part of this hike. This is the Rosengarten group of the Dolomites, and I can highly recommend it. You have seen I got into the cableway without any waiting. I was alone in the cableway, and parts of the hike I was also completely alone. So you can have a nice mountain experience and you can escape the over-tourism. Just don't go to these 3-4 spots where you see just every influencer makes a video about. So make your research, search for alternatives. You won't miss out. If you don't see the Trecime, if you don't see the Seceda, you won't miss out on it, because everything else is just as beautiful. Don't have this fear of missing out. Just go other mountain groups, other hikes, and I hope today I could show you, give you at least one idea. So now I have to go back home, and I don't know. I see you in the next video, which I don't know whenever it will be. With that said, I wish you an absolutely fantastic day. Ciao.